In this video, we're going to explore about Chart.js table data, and more specifically, if we have this question here, how to display chart data as a HTML table in Chartjs. So this is a question on Stack Overflow, and I think it's a nice question to explore. How can we do this if we have an existing Chartjs like this? So this is just from the standard basic Chartjs documentation, so there's nothing fancy in here. So if you go to getting started, you will find here, this is the one, and we're going to explore how can we do this. So how can we convert this data here that we have in this HTML file here, how can we convert this into a very nice table with the existing data? Alright, so the first thing what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a few items here. First of all, I want to adjust this one here. Just do the latest version here, that's 2.9.4. Alright, what we're going to do here. So we have this here, and if you've seen some of my other videos, it was very clear how this breakdown has been. And if you still don't understand that, I would recommend to watch my other videos about that, especially Chartjs under the hood, looking at the really basics. But if you don't, we can also do it here, most of it, but I will go here faster than in the previous videos. So what we're going to do here is, first of all, we're going to create a table, and we're going to give this an ID. We will say here, table data. This will be the ID. And then we have a nice class, it's table as well. So once you have this here, here between we all have the table row, and between there we all have the table data. So this is the standard structure of this. So what we can do is the following. So what are we going to do here? We can structure our information based on how this is set. So what we can do is maybe here in the first column we will start to put in the month, which is the labels, and in the second column we will put in the data. So let's do that one here. So first thing here, what we will do here is labels, and then we put in the next table row or table data, and in here we have the data. Alright, so what does this be, or what can we do now? So from now on, basically we need to keep on putting here a new item with a new table data. So basically we need to loop through this. And this is basically how it will be, and then here we see ABC, and then here the number. Alright, so let's start and explore with this, because we have to use JavaScript for this, and we're going to work within here. So first of all, we'll put in here below, and in here below we start to work with a few items. Let's start and explore what we need to do and what is our problem. Alright, what is the desire, or what is the action we want? We want to loop through the entire labels. No, I'll just remove this one. Alright, sorry. Labels plus data. Alright, and those need to be in different columns and new row per label plus data match, meaning January with 0, February with 10, that would be a new, that's a data match, or label data match. Alright, so that means we would have here 7 columns. Oh, sorry, 7 rows with 2 columns each. Alright, so that is what we want. So what is the problem? So problem now, alright, so we can clearly define. The problem is, okay, how to create this loop plus adding the table rows plus table data. Alright, that's our problem. And then so 3, what do we need to use? So what are the things we're going to use? Well, number 1, we're going to use a for loop. By default, the for loop. Number 2, we need to be able to pinpoint the values in the array Yes, remember these are the arrays that we're going to work on. So we need to pinpoint those, and then we need to loop them. Basically, we need to make a for loop and pinpoint them. And then once we figure out how to do this, create new tr and so td and tr, basically tr and td, that would be the right structure. And then once we did that, insert the values or the values pair, maybe that's the better word, of data match, yes, the match or the pair, into the td column. That's what we have to do. So what we have to do is here we have to probably create some columns. So we need to use here append child. So this is what we're going to use here. Append child most likely here, and then plus adding the values here. Alright, let's start and do the first one. Alright, what do we need to use? We need to use a for loop. So probably I will move the for loop down because the for loop will not be that important. Our first issue would be to pinpoint the values. If we cannot get the values, there's no reason to make a for loop. So what we're going to do now is the first thing what we want to do here is to create the values or pinpoint the values. So I'm going to remove this here and just only work on here because this is more clear for us. Pinpoint the value of the array. So the first thing is, how do we pinpoint that? Well, if you see my videos, you already know chart and then data, and then here we can get this, or chart, data sets, and then we get here the data. Alright, so the first thing what we want is we want to get the label. So what we are going to do here is to pinpoint this. So what we say here is chart. We're going to chart, we're going then to data, and then from data, we're going to labels. Yes, and in labels, we can say here, for example, 0. Once we have this, we already pinpointed the first label here. So let's say here console.log. Then open up the, you make the console log and open up the developer tab. Let's open up this. Well, as you can see here, this, alright, that's good. You can see here January. So that means this works beautiful. Exactly as we want. So if you understand this already, you probably figure out how we're going to loop here very soon as well. So the next one would be, can we get the other array, which is the data here? Yes, that is correct. We can get that by doing data sets. This is the only single data set. So put in this. So we have the labels. We need to remove this labels here. So we have the data set. And now we have, of course, we have here the data. And this will be data 0, meaning this one here. Alright. Save this. You can refresh here now. Oh, what happened? Can I read property view at undefined? Alright. What's going on here? Let's double check here. The data set, surprisingly that it doesn't work. Then here I have the data. What are we missing? Now, I'm not sure what we're missing. Let's save this and let's double check here. And undefined. So why are we here missing something? Am I missing an item here? Let's make sure if I'm date chart. So we have the chart data. Oh, of course, sorry, my apologies. Alright, that's it. So what we have to do here, chart, data, data sets, data. So I'm getting confused because we have double data here. So pay attention for that. Save that, refresh. And then once we refresh here, you can see, there we are. Alright, so now we got the data. So this is the first one we need, and you can see here this becomes easily. So what is this really? This is the first data set. If you would have another line in here, that would be data set number 2. But we only need data set 0, or yeah, if I talk about elements, but let's say here 0, and if we would have another one, would be the second line, and the second line is data set 1. If you understand what I'm saying here. If you don't, ignore for now, doesn't matter. I will show you later the example. So we have here the data, and this is the one we're going to loop. Alright, so once we've got that, what we're going to do here is, next item here, create a new tr and table data. So what we're going to do is the following. You can see here we have this, and then basically in here we can start to add up new items. I'm going to put it in here in the table data ID, so we have this table data ID, and then from here on we can start to append it in here. So what we're going to do is here we say here constant table data. Oh yeah, table data, that's fine. And I say here document dot get element by ID. And once we did this, we put in here the table data semicolon. Alright, so now we have pinpointed table data. So now we know what we want to do. So if you want to append the child, so we're going to now put in here table data dot we have to not only append the child, we first have to create a element. So we say here table data create element. Oh no, we are not allowed to do that yet. We have to do here is we create a new constant table data tr. Yes, so this is a tr, and here we say document dot create element, and here in this element is tr. All right, so we have this one, so we're creating a tr. The next one we need to create is a table data td. So that's table data td. All right, so once we have this, now what we can do is the following. We say here this dot append child. So when I'm talking about this, I would recommend you even to watch one of my videos about append child. But what it basically does is this is the parent, and the parent will get a new child, and that child is of course the table data row. So we put in here, we created that one, and then the next one is the table data row will be also on, and that one will be appended because this will get the child. No, append child is capital letter C here. Make sure you have that C here. And in here you say table data. But what I want to do here is I want to make 2 of those. So we're going to do twice. Alright, so we've got these. Save this and let's see what happens. See if we get an error or if everything works. Open up here. Let's search on this. We get here something. Alright, and then we see here the next one, table body. This is the end of table body. I guess that maybe we should append it into the table body. Alright, that will make more sense. And you can see here we're starting to add up a few items, but we only add up 1. Alright, so this apparently is not allowed to do twice. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put it one more time. So we cannot use this twice. So I will do this one and put in here number 2. So we have this, refresh, and now I'm expecting 2 results here. There we are. Alright, you can see here this is using the table body. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the table head here and put the table body down so we can insert this ID down here. So to make sure you understand what I'm doing here, right now we have this, and then we have here table head. This will be table head. Okay, you check. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put it all together here. So what I want to do here is to make here T-body so that HTML is not confused with our items here. So this is the item. Eventually in here we're going to move the table data into here. Alright, so once we do this, then we can just comment out this to see if this really works. Alright, then we have this, and then we have here our things. Then we have here the ID. Then we comment this one out, and then if we open up this, there you are. So this works. So now we're getting very, very close to the result. What we want to do now is the next part is to loop it through. We're going to loop through this. So how will we do this? Well, first of all, we create a for loop. Oh wait, sorry, not yet. We have to create the matching pair. Let's do the matching pair for now. Because the matching pair needs to go above here because we are appending this part here. So I'm going to do the matching pair here above. It's a part of it. So here, this is append the children, and here we can say append the matching pair. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to create a text node. So what is a create a text node? So basically in here we're going to put a text node, which is a document.create text node. And this text node will contain the text that we want. So it's a document create text node. And if you want to know what's a text node, well, basically a text node is a item in different things regarding to pairs and parents and children. So a text node is a child of the tag where the text should be in. That's basically what it is. Yes, if you want to learn that, check out my other videos about this. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we can give this a name. Create text node. We can say here another constant, and this constant will be the text. In this case would be, what is that, the label text. Alright, and then we have another one which would be not the label text but the data points. And in here, so what are we going to insert here? Well, we can put in here 1, 2, 3, or let's say here Jan for January, and here will be 1. Let's put in this here. Once we do this, we're not done yet because we need to insert this in our parent. So what is the parent in this case? Basically the following. If you have this, you understand that here is we have inserted this here. Then we can say here our table row, which is the first one, dot append child. Oh, sorry, not table row, but table data. TV. Yes, that's this one here. We're going to put in here the label. So basically here we can say label text. Alright, so that's the first one. So then number 2 will be data point, which will be number 2 here, and this will be the data points. And I like data point because it's only one data point in there. So let's save this and double check if this is working as we expected. There you are. You can see now we're getting the data here. We're getting something here that starts to look nice. If I do here 1, 2, 3, 4, or some weird digits, there you are. Alright, so it goes very fast. I don't know why something doesn't look properly. If I do this, this works faster. Alright, so we're getting close to it now. So basically you've already figured out what do we need to do. We copy this one here. We start to put this in here. And we copy this here and insert this there. So once we do this, I can remove this. So we have these pinpoint values is now incorporated in here. Refresh. There you are. Alright, so now what we need to do is basically create a loop for this. Where we add up this part here. We want to create every time, and every time as we create, it should loop again and create a new value. So that's what we're going to do now. So let's start with this, and then we say here a for, and then we say here open parentheses, then we put in here the statement. So which statement are we going to put in? First of all, I equals 0. And what we want to do is to make sure that this is correct. We say we have to loop I as long as I is smaller than what? Well, you can use two options here, the labels or the data points here. What is more important, the labels or the data points? Well, I'll show you here. This is what happens if you have more data than labels. You can see here, and if you refresh, you will see, alright, there's an unexpected token. Oh, sorry, let's comment this out for now. Here, refresh, and if you look at it, you can see it still maintains 7 only. There's no more, even there's more data. We added one more here, but it still maintains 7. If I remove this, and if we add up here in July, we put in here August. We refresh, we have this here. What I don't want is, I don't want that we have basically more data points in looping. And the reason why is because it would not show, it will show in the table, but it will not show in the chart. Here right now you can see it gives priority to the labels, meaning that if the labels have 8 data points, while the data, or sorry, if the labels have, if there are only 8 labels, or if there are 8 labels while there are lesser or fewer data points, Chart.js gives priority to the labels. So what I want is I want always the labels to be a priority. So knowing this factor, or knowing this, means that our for loop will compare with what? Well, basically with the labels. Even if there's more data points, I do not care. Labels is the key here. Alright? So once you understand this, we're going to get this here. We get the labels. Alright? We put it in here and we say dot length. We're going to remove this item here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment this out for a while, and then what I will do is I will do a console.log, and then we say here our labels length, and you will see that we should get now the official length of our label. So if I save this, refresh here, alright, that's fine. Open up number 8. So what is number 8? Well, it's 8 data points. That's correct because we added August here, as you can see. If we close this up, there you are. August is here. Alright, this is exactly what I want. So this is the length that I need. We're going to use this piece of code, put it in here. Oh, it's already in here, so that's fine. We'll close this or delete this. And then what we can do here is now the following. Alright, so here we start to work on this. Oh, sorry, before we do that, semicolon and then I++. Alright, meaning that it will loop through this, and as long as this statement is correct, it will repeat or reiterate the entire statement. Reiterate means basically repeating it a number of times. So how many times? Well, depending on this statement here. Alright, probably it's 8 because we have 8 loops. Or we have our length is 8. So that's most logical. Alright, so now we have this. And this can be placed here down, and the reason why is, let's remove this for loop here. The reason why is that this should be looped consistently until we get all the data that we need. So what we do here is basically the following. We say here, this one, no, you don't put an I on here. Alright? So once you did that, we save this and let's test if this is exactly what I want. Semicolon here at the end for a nice closure. Save this, refresh, and there you are. Alright, so we get now something, and somehow this is of course not what I want, because as you can see here it starts to loop. But how does it loop? It loops within the item itself. So let me double check here what's going on. Alright, it keeps on looping the value, but it doesn't loop our data here. And that is now time to solve. So how will we do this? We have to put in here a number. Let's see if we can do this. This would be fine. And this will be fine. Append the child to data point. And we put it in here as well. Alright, so after some checking, I realized that probably we are doing it wrong. We need to loop these here. These needs to be looped consistently. So let's put in this here, save this. I'm going to comment this out, and let's double check if this works now. Oh, down here, back. And there we are. Alright, so that's basically my personal mistake. Sorry about that. But after searching for it, we found the answer, and there we are. So now we have our table, and in our table we're basically looping through it consistently. Make sure you move this down, because what you want to do, you want to reiterate or basically repeat creating these items as well. And once you did that, there you are. So you can remove this. Only this one here, you don't need to do this loop this one consistently, because this one is just only one time to get the item. So once you have this, if you look here, there we are. We can now still give it a class. Maybe say, well, I don't like this class, and you can see here's no value. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add up the value here. That's a 10. And then what we're going to do here is we can add up some classes. So if you want to put in a class here and refresh this, maybe you want to give this a special color. Alright, so let's try and do this. We're going to copy the background color here. We can copy that one, or we can create a class. Because I'm using Bootstrap, we can use a class. Let's see here. Alright, we have this here. That's fine. This is the class name. So what I'm going to do here is we want to give the label a class name. So we say this item here dot class name equals, and then here we can give it any class name that we want. So what is the class name? Let's say BG success. All right, make it green. Refresh. There you are. That looks absolutely horrible, but this is basically how you can do it. Let's give this a line. All right, so that's slightly better. So what I want to do next one is, for example, maybe say, well, I would like to have these colors incorporated into here. All right, so we can do that as well. What we're going to do is then here is to extract the color, border color or background color, doesn't matter which one. Anyone you want, same structure, chart, data, dataset, background color. So we say here, and then we say here, table data, or we can say here, table data dot style dot border color equals. So basically almost similar to this. Then we can say, you can say here green. Yes, if we do this, it becomes green. Alright. However, maybe you don't want this, and I understand. What we're going to do here is, instead of green, we're going to get this one here. How do we do this? Simple. We just get first the chart dot. Then we have here not the type, data sets. All right, chart data dot data sets 0, and then border color. There we are. Save this. Refresh. There you are. Now we have this grayish color, so you understand exactly how you can give classes in case you need. And you have this one here. All right. So we've got this. The only thing what I still want to discuss is this item here, because you might be aware of this item that what I indicated. What happens if you have two data sets? All right. So let's put in here second data set. I'm going to give this a greenish color. All right, and I'm going to give this a very simple value, fixed value of 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. All right, let's save this. Let's see if this works. There you are. We have this nice bar here. What I want to do maybe here is background color. Well, maybe we can remove the fill. See if we can do that one as well. Fill false. I'm not sure if this is the right one. Let's double check. Oh, no, apparently not. Sorry. Option fill false. Let's try again. Alright, doesn't work, doesn't matter so much. So basically here what I will say is I just make this transparent. Transparent. Oh. Alright, and same here, I will do this transparent as well. Then I will have to only adjust the background color we have here. What did I get here? I did the border color, right? I get the border color item, but if I save now, because I set it now to transparent, so you will see that it disappears. Alright. The border color, I guess the border color was not the one I should remove. My apologies for that. Let's undo this. Let's make the background color transparent. That's the one I wanted. Alright, so that works. This is the same item. So imagine you have these here. And what you want to do now is you want to put in the second line here. Or how do you put in here? Well, if you want to only pinpoint this one, basically you do here the following. You'll say here, instead of this, you say here number 1. Alright, so once you have this, this is basically how you can play around with it. And this is basically how you play around with it and do all the items. You can see here all the number 5 has been adjusted, and so you can show the table data in your array. If you want to imagine you have another one here, you would be doing another item here with the data set correctly. So you could do this one, data point 2, then you say here number 1. Can you play around with this with a if loop? Yes. Or with a for loop? Yes, but you have to really figure out how you do this one. And that's maybe for next video or something like that. Okay, next one here would be, the only thing what I will do is I will just make another column here, so you will see that these are besides other. This is data point. Yes, this will be data point 2. Alright. and here I'll just make another column, table data number 3. That makes sense. Third one. Alright, we got this, and then we finally have to append everything. This data point 2. Alright, so this is quite confusing. I will just make this 3 so it's easier to follow along, because you will get confused, and this should be normally 2. That will be more consistent with each other. Alright, we got this now. Final item. We have this one here, table data 2. Alright, table data 3 will be also appended here. Let's double check, refresh. Do we get everything? There we are. Alright, let's see, why is there a error here? Oh, of course. Let's solve that one, and then we're done. We can say here, oh, we can even get these. That will be another option as well. So say second. Maybe next time we could implement these as well. But what we could do for now, because we have hard coded these here, data. You have the data set here. This is what we have hard coded. We could soft code them, but that's next time. So we say here, data, and now we just copy this. Then we say here, this is first data. Alright, refresh. Once we did this now, we've got it exactly. We have all of these together. Background colors, you could give this color, text color, whatever you want, everything you want, but you already figured out probably how to do it. If you wanted to give this, use these colors, assign text color, style text color. You could do that here. For example, this. Let's say number 3. We get the second data set. We say here, if I'm not mistaken, it's text color. I'm not sure. Oh, sorry, that is not the case. It's probably color only. Oh, did I save? I will save this and refresh. Alright, doesn't work. Doesn't matter. Not that important for now. Let's remove this one again. But there we are. So we can get this, or maybe it's font color. I realize. Let's try that one. That should be most likely. Font color. Oh, no. Alright, sorry about that. So ignore that one. I will figure that one out later on. However, this is basically how you do it. Just figure out here what's the font color to get, or the color style. And if we can always do class name. We add a class name. This is basically how you can show the values for Chartjs, and you put them here in a table below them or besides it if ever you need. So if you like this kind of video, subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions regarding this, put them in the comment section below.